After yet another disappointing season for Arsenal Football Club, winning no trophies, getting knocked out by PSG last night, the attention now turns to the summer transfer window. Some exciting times ahead, you could say, in terms of our new director and what he's got up his sleeve, Andrea Berta, who, of course, we appointed from Atletico Madrid. But in today's video, I wanted to give like a wish list, sort of like a target list on all the players that I've put in myself and that we've been linked with that I think would be perfect for Arsenal because we do need. It's crazy that I'm saying this, but we do need another rebuild after spending that much money, over 700 million. We know how much Arteta spent, and not just him with Edu as well. And we still need about 5 new positions. We're going to go all for it today, guys. Make sure you leave your thoughts down below, smash like buttons up, and without further ado, let's get right into it. So, as I said, I've put some players here that we've been linked with and are very realistic, and also ones that I've watched in different leagues myself. I watch a lot of Serie A, if you guys don't know that already. So I picked a few Serie A players in there, which I think we should be looking at, and I think could be perfect for Arsenal. But let's start with the main priority. Now, the main priority in the transfer window this summer has to be the striker. There's no other position apart from that's the main priority. Is Arsenal signing a new striker? We've not really had a striker since Aubameyang, and now sort of number 9 since Aubameyang. You know, Arteta's had opportunities to sign strikers. He brought in Kai Havertz, 65 million. He's using him there. It's not worked out there. Gabriel Jesus looked fantastic in his first couple of months as an Arsenal player. Got the injury and never worked out towards the end. And even with Jesus, just quickly, he's not really an out striker. You know, he's scored about 15 goals in his whole entire career. He's not a clinical sort of prolific goal scorer. I mean, he's a good player. Don't get twisted, but as like since a replacement like a Bamyan, for example, who left 3 seasons ago now, we're still not replaced him. So these are the strikers that I picked here today that I think are going to be, and of course there's going to be many options, but the first guy seems to be realistic and lots of reports going around and would be also my ideal striker, Viktor Gyökeres, as we know. Viktor Gyökeres. Now, the report coming out is Andrea Berta is actually the guy who's trying to push for the move. He wants the move. And Arteta, I'm sure, wouldn't mind Gyökeres, but I think Arteta wants other strikers, out there that he prefer, which we'll talk about in just a minute. But Andrea Berta has made it very clear that he's wanted him since Atletico Madrid, and he now is looking as one of their main targets is Viktor Gyökeres. That's who Berta wants, and that's who certainly that I want as the main striker for Arsenal. Seen this guy enough times already to say that this guy is the guy for Arsenal because at the end of the day, the stats don't lie. You know, he's breaking record numbers over there in Portugal. No player is coming close to him in Portugal. He's completely tearing it up over there. And I didn't even realize this until today, guys. Half the games, I think he's missed about 8, 9 games this season due to a little thigh injury that he's had. So he's scoring goals. He's scoring in every single game that he's played in. He's having record numbers, and he's not even played in it. He's not even starting in every single game. This guy is doing it week in, week out over there in Portugal. And yes, it's a question mark about can he do it in the Premier League. But with Gyökeres, he's proved already that he can do it in the Championship, which is a tough league. It's a tough league to play in. We know this. Doing it at Coventry, he did it. He proved himself in England. He proved himself in the big stage, in the Champions League against Manchester City, bagging a hat trick. The end of the day, the only player who's really doing what he's doing is this Samu guy from Porto, who Chelsea wanted to sign. But Gyökeres is completely up here compared to him. And Samu's having a good season at Porto. He's scoring some goals, but Gyökeres is just light work ahead of him. He is up here as a striker. And if you want to take away the stats, fine. Take away his stats. Apart from the goals, he brings so much more than just being that clinical finisher that he is. He's a beast up front with his physicality. Hold up play is top class. Can drift out wide, but predominantly to the left, which I've noticed in his play. You know, can drift out wide. Powerful striker. Aerially top class. Vision's top class. Everything about someone like Viktor Gyökeres screams perfect in terms of what Arsenal been missing since Aubameyang, really. And you given the players and you given the service that we have, and you've seen the chance that that we sit there after every game and we say, oh, if only we had a striker, if only we had a striker. Vitz Gyökeres is that guy for me. He's that guy. Yeah, there is a question mark about can he come over because we saw the likes of Darwin Núñez, come from the Benfica, didn't really hit the ground running in the Premier League. But listen, at the end of the day, the big key I look at this is Berta wants him as well. He's made him his main priority, and you look at Berta's sort of track record in terms of strikers as well. Um, he signed Julian Alvarez this last season. He's worked really well with Atletico Madrid. David Villa, he signed in 2014. They went to win the league. Luis Suarez, he signed, went to win the league. I think he signed Morata as well. So he's had a few that's not really gone, but majority of his decisions have gone really well in terms of strikers. And it's played in Atletico Madrid's favour. So at the end of the day, I think Vitz Gyökeres for me is an absolute no-brainer. He would be my first choice and looking like it could be realistic as well. Um, you know, we know he has, I think, is it a gentleman's agreement in terms of that he can leave for under 65 million euros. That is, it might be a bit more than that actually. Last time I checked, but he's going to be reasonably priced, good amount of money, and for me, he's my main choice as a main striker, Viktor Gyökeres. I'm not included Isak in this list because I don't think Isak's going to be leaving Newcastle this season. I think he stays at Newcastle this season. Isak will stay at Newcastle. He's won the Carabao Cup and top four. He's going to get Champions League. I don't see him leaving. And you really think Arsenal can pay 150 million for this guy? Nobody's going to pay that. So that's why I'm not included Isak in this list, by the way, people. But anyway, let's move on. Gyökeres and me would be my first choice if you talk about strikers. But I want him. Go and get him, man. This is the main guy for me. But anyway, a few other mentions. This is one that Arteta seems to be more leaning towards, and it's Benjamin Sesko. And he's having a good season, to be fair to him. But this is what the reports going around that Arteta seems to be more eyeing Sesko. And of course, Arsenal wouldn't mind signing Sesko because it's who Arteta wants. And Arteta has wanted him for a few years now. It's been reported and it's very true that Arsenal tried to sign Sesko in a January transfer window. They tested it out, but his price tag was too much for Arsenal to pay, around 70 million in January. Leipzig were never going to let him go. Of course, we had the whole summer dilemma where, a lot of clubs were interested in Sesko, but he rejected everyone and said, I wanted to stay in Germany. And he stayed in Leipzig for one more season. Arsenal, do not be surprised if we go back in for Sesko. Arteta is a big fan of him, clearly. And I'm sure him and Berta can make an agreement on signing Sesko. I know Berta wants more, Gyökeres, but Arteta wants more Sesko. The thing with Sesko for me is he's doing his thing over there in Bundesliga. He's doing his thing over there. I've seen a lot more of Gyökeres than I have of Sesko, to be fair, but the small size of Sesko, he looks promising. He looks a potential player that has potential. But there's a key word in there. It's potential. It's potential. I think he's got a lot to prove still. And people say, with Gyökeres, oh, he's the same. He's still got potential. And yeah. And, he's not fully proven yet. Well, for me, I think Gyökeres has proved that he proved it on the big stage more than Sesko has. As simple as that, really. You cannot look at the numbers that Gyökeres is producing. He's quite clearly too good for the league. He's already done it in Coventry, in England. He's done it in Champions League. He's done it on the big stage. I'm still yet to see that really with Sesko, to be honest with you. He's had some really good games, Sesko. He's looked really good. He looks a powerful striker. Looks a clinical goal scorer. I wouldn't mind him, but I think there is better out there, in my honest opinion. I still think Sesko's more a player that still needs a lot to prove. He's still young, he's still got potential. I do understand that. But as Arsenal Football Club now, we've moved past signing potential players. I wouldn't mind Sesko, but I think there is a lot better out there. But this is the guy that Arteta seems to be wanting, to be honest. So we'll see what happens this one. Some honorable mentions from me that we're not been linked with, but I actually would include in this list. Jonathan David on a free transfer. We're talking about a free transfer here, people. An absolute no-brainer in Jonathan David, a very underrated striker. Seems gone under the radar. We year in, year out, he seems to always do his thing over there in Ligue 1, score goals for fun. Again, even performed in the Champions League this season really well. Very, very clinical goal scorer. And I would sign him. And then also we can sign two strikers then. And that would be even better. On a free transfer because he's going to be leaving Leo at the end of the season. Doesn't look like he's going to sign his contract. On a free transfer, Arsenal got to pick this guy up. Because signing him and also another striker, no problem with that whatsoever. Get this guy on a free transfer all day long. It's about whether he want, of course, first, is he going to play week in, week out for Arsenal? That's a big thing. But I think an honourable mention right there, which I'm shocked that we're not been linked with Jonathan David. Any concrete links. Jonathan David for me is an absolute no-brainer, guys. It's as simple as that. On a free transfer, in the summer, go and get him before another club gets him. I would take him in a heartbeat. Again, goes under the radar, score goals for fun, prolific, clinical. Yeah, really, really good player. Jonathan David for me, one we should be looking out for. And the final striker, as I said, I'm talking about Syria. I've watched a lot of him this season. He's really impressed me, and I've watched him from when he first came in, and his development and how well he's progressed and how well he's became as a player has really impressed me. And he's only going to get better. And I don't think we'll sign him, honestly, but I think it's a mention that we should be looking at. It's an option we should consider. And it is Matteo Lategui from Atalanta. Now, I watched this guy for years now. When he first came in, because obviously you guys know me, I've got the Serie A channel. I support the Italian national football team as well. When he first came in the Italian national football team, Mancini called him up from Argentina. This guy's actually from Argentina. He played in the Argentinian league for a few years, but Mancini called him up, and we was like, "Who's this guy?" Nobody knew this guy. We was like, "Who? We'll take who?" Yeah, we was like, "Who's this guy?" And when he first came in, he was very wasteful in front of goal, and he was really frustrating to watch. It's kind of like he just needed four or five chances to finally score a goal. And that's the biggest thing is he's wasteful. He wasn't clinical enough when he first came in. But now he's had a season under Gasperini at Atalanta, and he's completely elevated his game. Had an unbelievable season. Up there, Serie A top goal scorer for a good reason as well. And what I love about him the most, he's just a target man. He's yeah, he's a target man, like he leans in the box, if that makes sense. He hogs the box, which is what we need really. Is a striker like that. Just feed it into him in the box. Nine times out of 10, he scores. He's proved how clinical he can be this season. He's a target man, and I think that's what we need as well. Prove that he's prolific, prove that he's clinical, and at the end of the day, Lategui, for me, he's got a big future ahead of him. As I said, he's proved in the big stages in doing it in Serie A, top goal scorer in Serie A. Even for the Italian national team, he's been one of our main guys now, I'd say. A number 9, like even the Azzurri's been missing. So I think he's a definitely honorable mention. I feel like more unrealistic because I don't see Arsenal leaning towards him. I think we'll go elsewhere. But if he's out there available in the summer, which the reports he will be, no reason why we can't go and sign someone like Matteo Lategui. I think this guy, honorable mention, goes to him in my opinion. But yeah, let's go into this is more the winners now. Still saying on the attack side of players, and one we'll be linked with is Jamie Bino Gittins. I've got a more realistic option with this one as well in Jamie Gittins, who's having a fantastic season over there in Dortmund. As a player, 2-footed, could play both left and right as well. Definitely a player that I see also going, 20 years of age as well, still very young, sort of doing what Sancho did over there when he burst onto the scene, playing with Dortmund. Kind of reminds me a bit of Jadon Sancho, where everyone's talking about him. But Jamie Gittins, for me, looks very, very good. Technically gifted, rapid, fast, can play both footed, left and right. Would be realistic, as I feel definitely see Arsenal going to sign someone like Jamie Gittins. And I think, he's up there as a really realistic target. I don't know how much the price tag's going to be for him, but reports coming out in the recent days that Arsenal are in the race to sign Jamie Gittins from Dortmund. As many other clubs are looking at him, like majority of these players will be as well. But I think Jamie Gittins, we know we need a winner, man. That's one thing I'll say. Trossard will most likely be leaving. We need some competition for Saka, and we need some more sort of competition for Martinelli on the left as well. So a player that could play both sides would be perfect for me. Jamie Gittins, I'm not against signing whatsoever. I think there is more proven out there, in my opinion, which we'll come to in a minute. But Jamie Gittins, for me, very, very good player, and one I definitely will not say no to there. This is a bit unrealistic. This is the one I put in there. Rodrigo. Now, Rodrigo could be leaving around at the end of the season, but it's going to be 100 million. Rodrigo's a player is absolutely top class. Absolute top class. If he did come into Arsenal, though, he'd have to play more on as a left winner because we've got Saka there. There's no way he's going to obviously take Saka's place. So he's got to play more of a left winner. But I put Rodrigo in there because these are the players we should be signing. These are the types of players. Okay, and I know it's a lot of money, 100 million. I don't see it happening, and I'm not saying it's going to happen. I think it's very unrealistic. Pardon me, for Arsenal, to sign someone like Rodrigo. But if you want to get these types of world-class players, then Rodrigo is that guy. He is that guy. And I know we played very well against him and he didn't do anything against Arsenal, but that's 2 games. When you watch Rodrigo week in, week out, he's absolutely top class. And it's unrealistic, but it's one I've mentioned there to see if we actually can go for him. I think we should go for him personally, but I don't see that because I think we've got more money and more priority on the striker. But Rodrigo is there in terms of winner there as well. One, again, I've mentioned in Serie A, one that I want the most is Adeloma Lookman. Another player that's, risen up in the recent years, developed his game, looking absolutely top-class player now than he was. Let's not forget, Lookman was in the Premier League. He was, and he flopped in the Premier League. Everton, Fulham, what was the other team? Everton, Fulham. Oh, there's another team that he played. Someone in the chat will let me know. There's Leicester. That was it. Leicester, right? Leicester, Fulham, and Everton. 3 teams didn't really hit the ground running whatsoever, right? Then Gasperini's developed him. We saw him dunk on Leverkusen, the hat trick. Lookman, I really like a lot of. On the left-hand side as well, watch him a lot in the Serie A. He's torn up the Serie A with Atalanta. Direct winner, yeah, superb player. And for me, we'll give that perfect competition for Gabriel Martinelli. A player for me that my ideal winner would be Adeloma Lookman. But it seems to be this guy that's most likely going to be Arteta signing. Again, Arteta is really a big fan of Nico Williams. We saw him in the Euros have a fantastic tournament. But what I've seen of him this season, he's been very underwhelming for Bilbao. Very underwhelming. The games, I mean, I watched him in Europa League in specific, right? The games I've watched him in Europa League, he looks a player just lack of confidence. Just reminds me so much of Martinelli. So he's became very predictable this season. When he's on it, but he's not showing consistency this season, in my opinion, which really does worry me. Which really does concern me. But seems to be Arteta's guy. Of course, we've been linked with this guy for quite a few years now as well. Nico Williams, from Athletic Bilbao, completes the winners section there, guys, for Arsenal. So let's get into the midfield then. Now, one I think is going to be happening is a pre-agreement deal. It'll take a lot for this one to actually fall apart if Real Madrid are looking at him. Martin Zubimendi. Zubimendi seems to be the guy for Arsenal in terms of the midfield. Now, talking about midfielders, Jorginho will be moving on from Arsenal. Partey looks like he's been staying. So that could be a big thing. But Martin Zubimendi, expect him to come in, of course, 6. And then, obviously, Declan Rice will still play number 8, and you have Rice, Zubimendi, and Odegaard, whoever it may be. But Zubimendi, a player, again, I like him. I do. I'm not against the signing. I think he's a really good addition. I really do. I kind of think we should have got him 2 years ago. But he's a very, very technically gifted player. I remember him when he came on, was it in the final against England in the Euros? He looked phenomenal, didn't he? I do like him. I mean, I know people talk about the concern about is he physical enough in terms of Premier League. Well, time will tell about that. But what we'll say, he's got it all technically. Technically gifted is, creativity as well. He's got that killer pass in him. But yeah, I think the big thing we've got to talk about is physicality. As a 6, is physicality. But Zubimendi seems to be the guy for Arteta. This one was way pre-agreed before Berta came in. So yeah, this was going to be happening. As I said, the only way it will fall down really is if Real Madrid look at if he says if he goes to Real Madrid instead, which I don't see happening. I think he's going to be going to Arsenal. So Zubimendi seems to be the main midfielder coming in. As I said, Pite will stay, Rice will be there, Marino will be there, and yeah, that's that's what's going to happen there. Now I do think in terms of we still need another player for Odegaard. I know Ethan can play there, but Arteta's not using Ethan there. That's been clear. We're going to need another option for Odegaard. Clearly, we need another option for Odegaard. Odegaard's been very, very poor this season, and he needs competition. One player I really like is Jerry Simmons. Really, again, another player that's really burst into the scene, playing his best football at Leipzig and had a really good season. I think it's shown like Jerry Simmons will be perfect for Arsenal. He's got everything there. Really give that good competition with Odegaard. As I said, having a really good season at Leipzig. I know it was that obviously PSG didn't really work out there. Barcelona, he's in the academy, didn't really work out there. But now he's playing at Leipzig, very developed player, looking really, really, improving every single season. And he's only going to get better. So Xavi Simmons, to me, is a player I think we should be looking at. Again, not linked with him, but as I mentioned, I'm going to put in there as well. Another player that, again, I'm looking in more Serie A. This guy has ripped it apart, man. And Milan have had a really poor season this season, but in Serie A in specific. But Reiners, right? Reiners, the Dutch international for Milan in the midfield. This guy is absolute top class. This is an honorable mention for me. You have to go and sign Reiners now. You have to go and sign. Listen, I don't think we're going to go for him because Zubimendi's coming in. But if anything happens with Zubimendi, Reiners is the guy. Reiners is the guy. He's a beast. He's a beast in the midfield, man. Absolute beast in the midfield, guys. Yeah, unbelievable player. Top class player. He's got everything, man. Absolutely everything. What the thing I love about him most is the way how he's so direct when he gets the ball. The way how he can drive with the ball. He has that confidence about him. That's what we need in the midfield. Reiners for me all day long. But I think it'd be more Zubimendi there. The final midfielders to complete it is Eze, a more Premier League proven midfielder. You know, can also play on the wing as well, which could be really good sort of signing because we know has the versatility about him, can play wing, can play, attacking midfield role. And I think Eze's proved enough in the Premier League that he's a top class player. And it'd be a mistake not to try and go for him because I could kind of see this guy leaving Palace and going to a different club and ripping up there, to be honest. Similar to what Elise did at Bayern Munich when he left Palace. Eze for me is a no-brainer. Top class player. He's already proved it in Premier League as well. So there's not really any risk about that. So yeah, Eze for me would be my final option in terms of the midfield. I know there's plenty of other options out there. These are the ones that I've just picked for myself, basically, guys. If you've got any other options, make sure you leave them in the chat as well. Right, who's next? We're going to talk about the defenders now. Looking like Arsenal could bring in another defender, but keep in mind that Kivior may eventually stay. I think we should move on, but I think he will be staying. And also, Calafiori still here. He can play centre back as well. But looking like Arsenal going to be targeting another second out is Dean Huijsen. Absolute top class player. Yeah, simple as that. Top class player. I've seen this guy enough this season already to say this would be a no brainer. In terms of the situation with him, he's got a release clause of 50 million and it can be paid in 3 installments, basically. So I think this will make sense for Arsenal. Arsenal can love to do things in installments, so get Dean Huijsen in. Okay, he's like the way how he carries the ball. He's like he makes it look so easy. He's like another Saliba, so calm, so composed on the ball, and defensively as well. He's rock solid at the end of the day. Aerially superb. Dean Huijsen will be a fantastic shout from Bournemouth, having a fantastic season. There's many big clubs in for him for a reason. Dean Huijsen for me will be one of my main priorities as a defender as well. But what about this guy? Can play left back, centre back as well. More versatile option. Hato or Hato. I don't know how you pronounce his name. I think it is Hato. A lot of people say it's Hato, but João Hato from Ajax. I'm going to call him Hato. From Ajax, of course, a player that we linked with for quite a while. He was the captain of Ajax at 17, by the way. 17 years of age, he was a captain of Ajax. He's got a big future ahead of him. Will be a very, very smart signing. Can play left back and also centre back as well. So those for me would be the two defenders that I'll be looking at, either Huijsen or João Hato, in my honest opinion. Let's move to the goalkeepers, guys, because we are going to be definitely signing a new goalkeeper. Ray is going to be number 1, but Neto's going back. I don't know about Kyle Hine. Maybe he'll go on another loan, but we definitely need another backup. The main guy that's going to be mentioned is going to be Joran Garcia. Joran Garcia having a great season over there in Espanyol. We almost signed him in the summer, but we couldn't because we didn't want to pay his release clause. I think it's 25 million or 30 million euros. Yeah, is his release clause. But apparently I'm not seeing a lot of him, but apparently he's top class over there in La Liga and seems to be the guy for Arsenal. If we don't go for Joran Garcia, then the goalkeeper that I mentioned, and I'm going to give a big shout out to Dom, Arsenal Domination, if he is watching this, because we was doing a podcast together, right? And he actually mentioned this to me. And I was like, how did I not think of this? Because I've watched him a lot of times this season. He's been at Napoli for many, many years. We're going back to Serie A for this one, guys. He's a free agent at the end of the season. Alex Merlets, free agent, end of the season, guys. Okay, on a free. This guy's a top-class goalkeeper, I'm telling you, yeah. Very underrated goalkeeper. Been at Napoli for years now. Years, many, many years. Been at Napoli. He's top class. He is top class for me. Really, really top goalkeeper. Underrated goalkeeper. Been one of their main guys this season as well. They've kept quite a few clean sheets as well down to him. But when you look in Serie A, I think he's been in terms of goalkeepers, I think he's at least been in top 3 this season with Napoli. Top 3. Karnaseki, Atalanta would be a good shout to get, but he's not leaving Atalanta, is he? Jan Sommer is doing well for Inter, but even Serie A, he's a bit shaky. So I think Meret, of course, you've got Mike Mignon as well from Milan. But I think Meret's up there, man, this season as a top-class goalkeeper, for sure. On a free transfer, why not? As a backup, I'm sure he'll be set with a backup. I think this will be a very good shout there. So yeah, that is the wish list. That is my sort of my short list of players that I want. Of course, I'm not gonna sign every single player. I'm not that deluded to say that it's not FIFA, but there's a few in there. A few mentioned that I want Arsenal to go and sign. A few that we're most likely going to sign as well. Make sure you get the comments down below on who you want in the summer. Let me know your guys' thoughts. Of course, we'll be here every single day doing daily Arsenal content, transfer news. You don't want to miss it. Subscribe to the channel if you are new, on the road to 11,000 subscribers. And I'll catch you guys in my next one. Big summer for Arsenal. Sign some players, yeah. But I'm confident with Andrea Berta. Andrea Berta coming in. He's going to do the business. He's going to do the business. So, yeah. Big up, guys. I'll catch you guys in my next one.